Good morning, everybody. This is my presentation on Catherine Kohler Reissman narrative methods for the human sciences. I wanted to start with a quote from Roland Barthes. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I just want to quote certain things. Um, that says that basically narrative is present in all manners of storytelling, from legends, fables, tragedies, drama, comedy, cinema, stained glass windows, comic books. It's infinite in its form. It's present in every age, in every place, in every society. There's no people without narrative. Narrative is international, transhistorical, transcultural. It's everywhere, just like life itself. What is narrative? Stories are central to human meaning making, and which is the purpose of narrative? Understand our own human condition. It's universal; they're everywhere. They're culturally regulated, meaning that our culture, in large part, define how we tell stories. Uh, for us, for researchers, narrative must be analyzed, not just reported, meaning that as researchers, we shape these stories. We are part storytellers in how we analyze the stories. These stories are shaped by our institutional power that regulate us and shaped by those institutions. We are part of those institutions, so we tell stories of what interests us, and what interests us makes them legitimate, so we have to be aware of our power as researchers. Narrative basically includes sequence events. There's a consequence of in this linking. So, for example, event A leads to event B, which causes event C, and so on and so on. And the linking of these events is what makes the meaning of the story. So, as researchers, we organize events. We don't simply report them. Narratives can construct meaning, and in large groups, it could create identity. It can persuade audiences. It could mobilize action. It could legitimize or challenge institutions. So, on this part, we are going to focus on narrative analysis. This is what we do as researchers. We don't collect stories. What we do is, through our analysis, we shape these stories. Is the systematic a study of stories. Basically, has to be based on theory. Differs from category-based coding, meaning that it's not just things that show up from the data. We analyze the whole story. This makes narrative analysis case-centered. We focus on sequence. We pay attention to language. We are concerned with audience and the larger context that shapes those stories. Researchers shape narratives through interview design, uh, what is that we are asking, through our transcription, what we add in our transcription, our notes, what we take out of the transcription, through our selection of the stories, through our interpretation. Transcription itself is interpretative. Uh, Formatting choices influence meaning, so they are formatting choices that we can analyze stories like and write them down like poems in stanzas, and that actually like shapes our understanding of the story. Narratives are therefore co-constructed between participants and researchers. We are going to focus today on three analytic lenses. There are four in Reissman's book. The last one, visual analysis, we're not going to talk about because it refers to how stories are represented through a visual media. I'm more interested in oral stories and transcription and how to understand the stories through three lenses. The thematic narrative analysis, what was said, structural analysis, how the story is told, and performance analysis, how the story is performed. In thematic narrative analysis, what was said, the main concern is content and meaning. So what is the story about? What is the meaning attached to these events? For this, we try to preserve the temporal order, meaning how the story is structured, analyze each case in depth, which produces a lot of transcription, a lot of material, and maintain the speaker's voice, meaning try to maintain the narrative integrity and not, in our transcription of the story, not erase things that will alter the story or the meaning of the story. Avoid fragmented stories in cross-case codes, which was one of the misunderstandings that I had initially. I thought narrative also use codes, but it's way more difficult and interesting at the same time, than just producing codes or across stories. We are going to see in these three lenses, they are analysis of illnesses and show how individuals reconstruct identity. We're going to see it in with different cultural backgrounds, also depending on the culture of the speaker, and the thematic analysis also that's related to disease. It reveals identity repair, the links between biography and social context, and also inequality in these personal accounts. Theory emerges from pattern within these different cases. In Garrett Williams' account, he interviewed people that had arthritis. Williams argues that beliefs about causes of misfortune are a human interpretative practice. So that means that when humans are faced with grave illness, that this continues their lives or disrupts their lives, they are forced to reflect on origin and purpose. So meaning that they are forced to kind of like reshape their identity, accept their condition, and kind of like try to work, try to create a life within this condition. So the question here was, why do you think that you got arthritis? So that was his research question. This is an impossible question, by the way, because arthritis is a genetic disease. So asking why, it has no answer. So the purpose of the question was to see how they see the disease within each one of these individuals. So Williams construct three case studies to illustrate the process of making sense of the beginning of disability. One was the account of Bill. He develops a story that connects his job as a factory worker, working with chemicals, and the onset of symptoms. Bill said that the chemicals that he worked with as a worker and foreman in a factory were the cause of his disease. This was incorrect because this is a genetic disease, but that's how Bill placed blame on his condition. A second account rooted the disease in stress and hardship associated with being a woman in a modern world. A third account focused on religious meaning, saying that there was a purpose for this disease mandated by God, and this was God's will. William uses these cases to illustrate the process of making sense of the beginning of disability. Variations of, you can see that there's a large variation in the individual's interpretations of the beginning of the disease. And Williams argued that these cases were chosen for a theoretical argument that the arrival of chronic illness initiates a process or cognitive reorganization or meaning making of the experience. Second lens is structural analysis, how the story is told. So on this type of analysis, it changes from analyzing content to analyzing form. So it says that the meaning is embedded in the structure of the story. and evaluation signals why the story matters. Structural analysis shows how agency is constructed, how blame is assigned, the moral positioning of the narrator, and is embedded in the sequence of events. So in this case, form produces interpretation. So events gain significance because of their ordering. So each story is organized by events or scenes, and they gained significance because of the logic that we apply. So this event caused this other event, which caused another event. Participants will vary their narrative styles depending on the culture. This is based on Labov's research. And so he said that in his research, he challenged deficit-based educational theories that would say that African American speech will be contrary to education and will impede the learning of Black children. With his research, he proved that that was wrong, and that the African American vernacular, for example, it was just a different way of telling stories or a different way of speaking and organizing events. So in Labov's structural model, there are these different parts that are in common in stories. The first one is the abstract. It's basically a summary of the story, and also orientation, time, place, character, situation, a complicating action, which are the events, the sequence of events, the plot or crisis or the turning point. There's going to be evaluation. The narrator comments on the meaning of the story. Resolution, the outcome of the plot. And finally, coda, the ending of the story, which takes us back to the present. So in this story, an African American man was asked about the most important fight that you remember. So the orientation was that the time that he was a kid, and he met the baddest girl in school. She was about 12, and she would punch you and kiss you, and she would bully kids and ask for candy. The complicating action was that the girl talked to him and asked demands for candy. Complicating action says that he doesn't have it, and she punches him. The evaluation is that, well, this is going to happen every day. If I don't give her my money, I'm from a poor family, I can give her my money every time that she demands. The resolution is that he hits the girl, and he wins the fight against the girl. The coda is that he states that this was the most important fight in his life, because he faced the girl, a girl that was very mean and bullied everybody. The final analysis that I want to talk about is the performance analysis, how the story is performed. Narratives are interactional events. So this is constructed between the narrator and the researcher. The narrator is doing the storytelling. In what context? That's a big question. Narratives are co-produced, and they are situated, and they're relational. So they are constructed through the interaction between the researcher and the person that is the participant. So performance analysis examines scene construction, the character positioning, tone, repetition of certain words, verb tense shifts, for example, from the past to the present, sound effects, and also acknowledges the interviewer's present and its his or her subjectivity. Narrators perform identity, their moral growth, also how they see themselves in society, how they position themselves, and this analysis revolves reveals how class, gender, and institutional power operate within personal narratives. Sometimes this is a present that has to be stated. It's not stated explicitly in the story, but it's like a shadow that hangs over the whole story. So in this example, this is about disability and masculine identity. Bert is a divorced white working class man with advanced MS. So this is the analysis is divided in scenes. In scene number one, Bert goes back to work after a period when he was in disability. He goes back to work, and this is what happens on the first day. So he was given a wheelchair at work. And he was very grateful about that. And he's been out of his job for a while. On scene two, uh, as soon as he gets to work, then about an hour or two happens, and he starts to develop the urge to go and urinate. So he gets up at 9. He feels that he has to go pee, and he goes to the handicap stall, and then nothing happens for him. So, and he had the urge, nothing happens. He goes back to work. Then 20 minutes later, he wants to go pee again, and nothing is happening. He just felt blocked up, and this happened all day. Now, on scene number 3, he gets back home. He is feeling nervous. He has not been able to go urinate all day long. He calls his doctor, and his doctor immediately tells him, like, I will send an ambulance. On scene number 4, the ambulance is sent, and he is brought to the hospital. They put a catheter on Bert, and then as soon as they put the catheter, he felt relieved. He said that he felt like 2 pints of urine came out of him, and he uses this sound shh to indicate that he was able to finally urinate, and he felt relieved. And in the hospital, they told him that they were going to keep him. And the Dr. Lavini, tells them that they're going to have to operate because everything is blocked up. They have to make the opening larger, and so he can be able to urinate again. And all this happened on the first day back to work. So Reissman interprets Bert narratives as a performance. Bert's story is marked by feelings of loneliness and struggle with his condition. This transcription was just one small part of all of Bert's story. Reissman says that as a woman showing interest in Bert's life, this called Bert's attention. So Bert felt like he had to put a performance. Bert talked about his feelings of loneliness, his desire for a relationship, being confined to a wheelchair, not being able to leave home, but just once a month to watch a movie with his caretaker, and having feelings for a nurse. By expressing interest in Bert reciprocated with this performance a dramatic representation of his life. In Bert's account, there's a lot of context embedded. For example, Bert has to go back to work because he felt that he had to work. He identified himself as a good worker. So the forces of capitalism are embedded in this account. Also, things that are stated later is that there was a lot of changes in Bert's work, meaning that he was in danger of losing his work. Actually, a lot of people got laid off afterwards. So this is a brief analysis. So the scenes are separated by time. So scene number 1 was on Friday, scene number 2 was Monday morning, scene number 3 that evening, and scene number 4, the final hospital scene. The characters were his boss, who he talked to, the 2 doctors that he talked on the phone and in person, himself, his position as a virtuous man, meaning as a hard worker. His preferred self was that he worked hard and he was very proud of that. His manner of speaking and how he will use certain phrases and repeat certain words for emphasis and to mark key moments. The expressive sounds also that he uses, for example, to say that he was able to urinate using the sound shh. Also the use of verb tenses, switching from past to present. This was my focus on the presentation of the analytic lenses, because for me this clears up a lot of misunderstandings that I have about narrative analysis. This is much harder than I thought in the beginning. You can analyze each narrative using all these three lenses and find different interpretations of the story. And it tells us a lot about power, tells us a lot about context, language, how the person sees himself, how they create meaning, not just by analyzing theme, but analyzing how the story is told and how the story was performed. And that's it. Thank you very much.